Dan, from someone who's been so accomplished in your career to be able to do 18.7 million, 595 residential jobs, you've been in the business for literally decades. Walk us through your daily routine, which I recognize is going to change, whether it's a fresh storm environment, an old storm environment. Today's time, you're driving about 3 hours to work in Madison, but let's focus on what you do as a daily routine, because your routine creates your habits create success. So what does someone like Dan Walrack do as your daily routine?
I think your daily routine will stem around goals, right? And in goals, what you should do every single morning, and I tell people this all the time, is, I listen so many different times where people have yearly goals and where do you want to be in 5 years and things like that. Don't focus on your yearly, don't focus on your 5 years from now, focus on today. Every morning they should wake up, write 3 daily goals that they want to complete that day. And it doesn't have to be work related. It can be personal related, but just write 3 goals down a day. And if you can do 3 goals a day and you can accomplish those 3 goals a day, and you do 6 days a week, because Sundays we take the day off, you do 6 goals, that's 18 goals that you're handling a week. If you can handle your weekly goals, that'll turn into your monthly goals and that'll turn into your yearly goals. Your goals will be achieved. The other thing is, after you get the goals, then what you want to do is you want to focus on what you need to accomplish today. What are the things that have to be done? So after that, I'm at my job site or I'm at the office doing paperwork or doing a build. And I'm out there. And that's the other thing too, is so many times now you hear sales reps that are out there that, well, a homeowner's not going to be home until after 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So they don't get out of their house until 3 o'clock in the afternoon to go knock doors. And I tell people all the time, I coach football. There's a lot of things that I do on the personal side of my life that don't allow me to be out at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, but yet I'm still able to do $3, $4, $5 million a year every single year. How do I do that? It's about structuring your time. Where people say, well, no homeowners home during the day. They are. You just haven't knocked on the right doors then, or you haven't approached the right people then. Mm-hmm. You need to get out there all day long. This is your career mentality as opposed to a job mentality. Is in Minnesota or Wisconsin, where I work, there's 3-4 months of the year where we're not doing a lot of roofing and siding. I have to pack those 3-4 months that I'm not doing into my year. So you're working 40, 60 hours a week. I tell people this all the time. If you can honestly go into the bathroom in the morning and look in that mirror and tell yourself that you put 40 hours of work a week in, you can't not make 6 digits a year. You can't. The problem is sales reps are lazy and they're not putting 40 hours a week into this. They're saying they are, but they're knocking doors 2-3 hours a day. They get a couple of doors slammed in their face. They're at the gas station, getting a turkey sandwich, getting a Slurpee or whatever they're getting. They're back at it. And then all of a sudden you're knocking 15, 20 doors a day where you're not reaching the people that you should be reaching. I mean, I'm out there all day, every day, Monday through Friday. I'm out there from 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning to, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon working, putting the time to do it. And that's what people don't understand is there's not a special sauce. There's not a special sauce. It's a matter of having a quality work ethic and going out there and doing the things that other people won't do.
What are the things that you see? Before we go there, I remember reading Brian Tracy's book. It's actually sitting on my bookshelf. I've talked about this quite a few times, called Goals: How to Achieve Everything in Life Faster Than You've Ever Dreamed Possible. I have a mirror bookshelf of there on the other side. I still have all the pages earmarked and flagged. It was the book that I read right when I took my very first job in roofing sales, door to door. And I remember it was also the first book I ever read that when, at the end of the chapter, there's like a summary. And it's like, do this exercise. And then usually you just read it and move on.
Yep.
I read it, flagged it. I still have all of the paper, like I typed it up, printed it out, of all the goals that I pursued. And Brian Tracy in that book and a series, I think I've read every book, if not almost every single book he's ever written. And I remember driving in my truck, listening to hundreds of dollars worth of CDs, right? That's what was available when I got into it. And there was no podcast or anything. It was just CDs.
Yep.
He talked about income producing activities. And there are people, the reason I'm bringing this up, one, is to recommend that book for others, but two, there's 2 things that you hit on that I really want to get into before we kind of go through the rest of the routine. One is, you said that like sales reps are often at the gas station having a Slurpee. They say they're working. And I've witnessed people say this, I'm busting my butt. And I'm like, we have different measures of that. Your time might be occupied, but is not being put to use. And Brian Tracy calls that income producing activity. So if you have 8 hours as an example, heck, even a 4-hour stretch, how much of that time is actually being spent doing the things that produce leads or sales versus like sitting there answering an email or trying to find the best neighborhood. I'm like, you should have done that before you got out in the field. And then the second thing that I love that you talked about was the daily goals, that rhythm. Like, man, when you say you're wired to win, when you're checking off a list, you're like, I did it. I did it. That's momentum. So,
Well, the key in sales is to stack your wins, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because everybody's out there trying to get to that next level. Well, you need to stack your wins on what you need to get to. And the other thing that people do all the time too is knocking doors, is they're so concerned about rejection. They need to flip their mind, and instead of going out there trying to get those yeses, go out there and chase as many no's as you can get. Go see if you can get 100 no's in a day.
Yeah.
Because if you can get 100 no's in a day, guess what's going to happen? You're going to trip over a yes or two here and there. And once you start doing that, and then those yeses, and you start to figure out and you understand what you're doing differently to get those yeses as opposed to those no's, those, 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses you're getting out of 100 doors, all of a sudden it's going to turn into 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All of a sudden it's going to turn into 15, 20, and you're figuring out what works for you. And I wasn't the one who said this, but somebody said the hardest door to open up is your car door, right?
Yeah. So true.
And it's true is, a lot of people have every excuse in the book of why they can't do something, as opposed to making the excuse, hey, I'm going to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And how do you make it happen? Get out of your truck, find your neighborhood, and start knocking doors, and start working the process of actually working and not actually sitting there telling people you're working.
Yeah. So what I've heard from you, consistent wake up time, daily goal setting, scheduling, controlling your schedule to income producing activities, and being in the field as much as possible, working build days and finding the neighborhoods where people are home instead of like, there's not a single soul that's home until exactly 5 p.m. when I choose to go out in the field. How do you end your days, and where do you fit in the paperwork, like the necessary evil that us sales folks don't necessarily like to do?
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of funny, Adam, as you mentioned that, is because when I first started doing this, probably the first 10, 15 years of my life of in this industry, my evenings, I was out every night till 8:00 at night. Right. And I was home, had a quick dinner, and I was doing paperwork till midnight. And then I was back at it at 6:30 in the morning again. I didn't know any different. That's what the job was. Right. And as time progressed, and as I built my network and I built my relationships and I built a process of how I do things, now my evenings, to be straight up honest with you, I spend a lot of my evenings with family. Yeah. I do a lot of coaching. I coach the middle school football. I do a lot of, as much as I can be with my family as possible in the evenings. And then I just schedule one day a week, or a morning a week, or a few hours a day, so be it, in my schedule, of controlling my schedule, to get in the office and put that paperwork together. And it's getting harder and harder, because when I first started this, we had to fill out 1-2 sheets of paper and boom, there we go. Now it's like I'm signing 15, 20 different contracts with the homeowner on disclosure forms and authorization forms and color forms and home condition reports and, all these other things that I'm getting homeowners, and filing all those into a computer system with a CRM and everything like that. I used to be able to put a job order in 15, 20 minutes. Now it takes me an hour and a half to do a job order. Right. So, and that's another thing people laugh all the time, is they sit there and say, man, to sell that amount of jobs, you must have a lot of people doing your stuff. I try to explain to people, man, I do A to Z. I market my jobs. I sign my jobs. I meet my adjusters. I do the color millings. I color appointments. I do the builds. I do the collections, and I do all my ordering myself. So I do everything from A to Z on my jobs. Yeah. The only thing I get assistance on is the quality control. Once in a while, it'll be out there and take, watch the jobs. And then if we're lucky, we'll send the invoice in and get the collections to help with that part. But other than that, I do everything for my job.
Yeah. Which is so rare, because most companies now are segmenting that process, where the sales rep's responsibility for many companies is ending right around the point of turning the job in with a signed contract. Production will pick it up to do the material order and scheduling. And then the office is doing collections. And by the way, not every company is doing that, but
which, to be honest with you, is great, right? Because we want our closers out there what?
Closing,
right?
Yeah.
However, this is where the part that I see is wrong with the industry is, if you've got a supreme closer, if you've got a guy like myself that are great at closing, that closer should not want somebody else to touch that. They should want to be at all their builds, because the easiest time to sign a homeowner up or a neighbor up or somebody like that is at your build, is at your relationship building. Because I look at every time I meet a homeowner, I'm building a friendship. And when we talked about the referral process and things like that, every time I get a chance to stop by their house and play with Johnny shooting a bucket that's sitting out in his driveway, I'm building that chance for a referral.
Yeah.
And a lot of companies want their closers, hey, go out, sign the person up, turn the job in. Once the job's turned in, it goes to production, and boom, we'll build it. We'll get it collected, da-da-da. You go off to the next one. Well, in reality, is that person different than anybody else that's going to be knocking on that door? And I'm not saying good or bad.
Right.
For some, it's great. You get a high volume company where you got your closers closing, they got to keep moving, make their money, right?
Yeah.
Or then you got other people where, if your mindset's different, like mine, where is I want that homeowner to call me back in 3 years for an issue. And that's the other thing. We'll get into that. How many companies offer lifetime workmanship warranties, right? I tell people the reason we offer a lifetime workmanship is because in 8 years from now, 10 years from now, I'm inviting that homeowner to call me back if there's a problem, issue, or concern. Because 9 times out of 10, if it's leaking within the first year, right? Or year and a half. But if they're calling back 8, 9 years later and say, hey, I got a leak, or I got a problem, I got an issue, da-da-da, and you go up there and inspect it and it's not a workmanship issue, I've built that relationship. Now I'm selling them on a retail something that they probably need.
Yeah.
I don't want them calling somebody else.
Your focus on the long game is admirable. If we
That's because I'm a dinosaur, man.
Yeah. I love when you refer to yourself as a dinosaur, and you've got the dinosaur on your desk. It's great. What efficiency tips or techniques? Like, I'll give you an example. I had a mobile office, and I had my Ford F-150. The rear seats flipped up, so I'd keep it was like a 60-40 bench, and then the bigger bench would stay up. I'd have all my stuff stored there. I had one. I actually still have it in my storage area. I've got this desk. It was like a TV dinner tray, and it slides underneath the back seat. So I could set my laptop up, and I would just sit in the back because the back seats are huge, and I could be in my truck or in a build and get things done. So I didn't have to wait to do all my paperwork. So I was just curious if you had any like productivity.
Now you're building my dinosaur tendencies is what you're doing here.
Right.
I'd like to see a show of hands when you put this out there on YouTube, or how many people still have their manila envelopes in their a file folder box in the backseat of the truck that still hasn't organized out from inspections to color appointments to builds, the orders to collected. I still do. I mean, that's in the back of my truck right now. Everything I got. Ask me how many e-signs I do on signatures online, or how many times I do my presentation with a tablet.
Yeah.
Never have. Never will.
Yeah.
I'm a person that I love to look into my homeowner's eyes and talk to them and explain the process to them on a sheet of paper. And all contracts are signed by my homeowner, right?
Yeah. Wet signature.
Other processes I have in the back of my truck, something I started doing about 15, 20 years ago, is back of my truck, I've got my ladder, I've got my tool belt, I've got my 4 cones. People ask, why do you have cones? Every single time I pull up to that homeowner's house, the first thing I bring out as I drop my tailgate, first thing I bring out are my 4 cones, and I put it behind my truck.
Yeah.
I park in the same spot every single house I do it in. The reason those 4 cones are out there, as I tell people all the time, is every single time I'm talking to a homeowner, I'm putting on a show. I'm doing a presentation. I'm inviting neighbors to ask, what is going on? What are they doing over there? Oh. Right. I want people to see me. So my 4 cones pop out, my ladder pops out. And I talk to them, like I tell people all the time, ask me how many times I sign homeowners up on the kitchen table. Ask me how many times I sign people up on my tailgate. I would say 80 on my tailgate, 20% at the kitchen table. Yeah. They're like, well, why do you sign people up on your tailgate? I want other homeowners to see what we're doing. You know how many times I was signing a homeowner up on my tailgate discussing, or doing the color appointments on my tailgate discussing, and a homeowner would come walking by and say, what are you guys doing? I said, we're just getting Miss Jones ready for a brand new roof on here. She just got approved by the insurance company. I assume, so did you guys? We haven't even had ours looked at. Oh, really? Well, here's my card right here. I said, I can spin down there right after I'm done with Mrs. Jones here getting a color on. We'll see if you got the same damage. See how that's kind of parallel to what I'm doing on the warm door, cold door knocking? Yeah. It's really an easy process to invite that conversation where you're not pushing and you're not pushing your agenda onto somebody. You're just letting them know you're here to help.
Powerful social proof. It's brilliant. It's really brilliant. Is your truck wrapped?
No, my truck is not. Now, the reason my truck is not wrapped, I'm going to tell you that, is in Minnesota, there's to be a sales rep, you have to be W-2,
Mhm.
and I'm a 1099, so I can't have mine wrapped with the company and things like that on it. However, I also do a lot of go beyond the hustle speaking and things like that. And I don't like my truck's not wrapped. So
Yeah, understandable. So how do you end your days?
well, if it's a build day, I end my days at my homeowner's job site asking for referrals, and hopefully it ends with a couple inspections at the end of the job. But otherwise, I come home, and Tiffany actually, she proposed the idea about 20 plus years ago, at 8:00 p.m. is basically the phones get shut off. We don't talk work after 8 p.m. It's family time after 8 p.m. So that's how I end my days. And literally about 8:00, phones will go off as far as work wise. And then I'll look at what I'm scheduled for the next day. And then, a lot of times I'll sit down and I'll relax, and I'll think to myself, okay, did I accomplish the goals I wanted to get accomplished today? And I would say 95% of the time, 100% of the time, it's yes. And then I'm excited for the next day. The problem I have is, and I don't know if it's so much a problem or is an issue, is 27 years of doing this, I still love doing what I'm doing. And I think that's part of the passion of why I'm good at what I do, is because I still enjoy doing what I do. And if you don't enjoy doing what you do as far as a sales rep out there, this probably isn't the right industry for you, because every single day I get up and every single day is different in the aspect of, you don't know what's going to go on that day, and it's good or bad. There's rejection, there's positives, there's ups, there's downs. Again, one of the 5 C's that I talked about as far as consistency, because not one day is consistent as far as ups and downs, but you have to make it consistent as a sales rep. And that's part of playing the long game in this industry. So